Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello YouTube. So, it's Friday. I decided to drive into work and not do anything but listen to audiobooks. And this is a bit of a Friday response video to Swifto. It was a wee bit unexpected. I come into work this morning. I decided to put on YouTube and see what was up in the notification list, and Swifto had put out a video called something like 10 gaming, can't even say it. 10 gaming-ish, how do you say that? Gamish? Is it Gamish questions? 10 Gamish questions? That was harder work than it needed to be. So anyway, heading home from work. It is Friday the 7th. I'm just putting on my heater. I'll need to clear up the audio, I'm guessing. Anyway, so Swifto had said he was putting these questions out to the general community, but he did mention me specifically. He said I would maybe not want to answer some of them, and I was shy, which I was kind of surprised at. But I can understand why you'd maybe think I'm shy, because my YouTube channel is a wee bit censored, and that's because I need to be aware of the fact that I've got a social media, and in the job I'm in, I've got to be a wee bit careful as to what I say on YouTube, unfortunately, because other people might look it up and see who is this guy and what does he do, is he alright, and if I'm in there being controversial, it could maybe cost me a job or something like that. But in normal life, I'm usually quite good at having frank discussions with people. But anyway, I might be a wee bit reserved on my YouTube channel, and unfortunately that's not something I can change particularly. I think you might just say, shut up Robert. Anyway, moving swiftly on with the questions. Swifto. The first question is, and I've wrote down just the bullet points, so if I get the wording wrong, you just need to bear with me. What game would you like to see a sequel or a remake of? So I've had a wee bit of time to think about this. Not a lot of time, just 10-15 minutes to think about each of these questions and jot down an answer that came to my brain, so they're not like the deepest parts of my brain that I have searched looking for the answer. I've not trawled through the dungeons to find the treasure that is my memory. But a game I really loved to play in the past is a game called Silent Hunter. And Silent Hunter is a PC game, and it's literally just a submarine simulator. So there's various versions. There have already been sequels, etc. of Silent Hunter, and the last one was Silent Hunter 5 Battle for the Atlantic. And it's kind of a first person, you get to walk about the submarine and plot your course, and you're obviously given orders and missions to do. The reason I would like a remake of Silent Hunter is because I love submarines. I love, as with everything for me, isolation away from society, isolation from what society expects of us is something that I crave and really quite like. So being in a submarine is something that I would quite like to experience, and I'm sure that the experience of being in a submarine is nothing like what I'm thinking as in my little head. I'm sure that it's probably more difficult than I can imagine. However, Silent Hunter, great game, very mainly Silent Hunter 3 and Silent Hunter 4 are brilliant games. Silent Hunter 5 is better because it adds that ability to walk around the ship, but obviously Ubisoft, who make the game, were a wee bit tight on budget and had to be it's not a AAA type title as such, because the audience for that type of game is just not there. So yeah, Silent Hunter, if you haven't seen the game or played the game, if you like kind of slow games, I'd like to see a remake, because I think I would like to get it on my PlayStation 4. I think to get a sub-sim on an actual console would be good, and I know there's keys issues, but there's enough keys on a PlayStation controller to make all the needed commands quickly accessible in those only you could navigate through menus, and I think that being in a PlayStation 4, the graphics would be superb, plus there would be no issues with your hardware. Silent Hunter 3, Silent Hunter 4, and Dean Thompson will know this, definitely it can cause you big issues with trying to get it onto your computer and get it working properly. Slow down when you speed up time and stuff like that. So a remake of that would be brilliant to see, slick, smooth, a lot of money ploughed into it, but with some activity in between fights, because obviously you're in a submarine, you're under the water, and it takes a great deal of time to get from A to B. Obviously you can speed up time, but it kind of takes away a wee bit of the aspect. So if they could come up with a game mechanic that made time pass but not pass quickly, so that you're just moving from battle to battle, but there's something in between, a mini game or something that you've got to do, like navigate through rocky territory, just something they could add into to bring a wee bit of something in between the missions to make it feel like you're not just fast forwarding time would be brilliant. So that's my answer to question 1. Hopefully I can get through the rest of the questions quicker, because otherwise I'm going to be here all day. The biggest boss that you have ever defeated, I think, was a question, and I really struggled with this one because I can't think. Metal Gear Solid popped into my brain, and I think there's a few bosses in there that I would say I felt a real sense of achievement having defeated them. But the biggest moment would be my Manic Miner. When I was playing Manic Miner, and I've got it on my YouTube channel, playing that first level, first time in years since playing the game as an adult, then having the patience to keep going at it. But after about half an hour, 40 minutes, or however long it took me to past that first level, I was truly over the moon at getting by that level. So I know it's not a boss, might be a bit of a cheat, but getting past level 1 in Manic Miner would be my answer to that question. And if you want to see the video, it's certainly in my back catalogue of me getting rather annoyed at the whole first level, because the second level seemed pretty easy. Either that or I was just used to what you're supposed to do by that point. So the next question I've got here is a historical person that you would bring back to life to try and convince them that gaming was worthwhile. And I struggled with this one. At first I thought maybe a kind of biblical person, and then I thought, no, that's going to go down a serious route. And eventually I settled on Tolkien. I would like to bring back Lord of the Rings author J.R.R. Tolkien, and get him to see the games that have been made of his world, the world that he first imagined in his brain. And I think that's one of the things about creativity. The fact that somebody like Tolkien can be at war, and in his brain he eventually sits down and writes these epic adventures, these worlds that now billions of pounds have been ploughed into recreating and bringing back to life. To see somebody, an artist, having modelled characters that he had in his brain, that's just one thing about the creativity side that I find brilliant. The fact that maybe one day something I draw or some game concept I come up with could potentially become something that everybody knows. Lord of the Rings is known the world over, as far as I'm aware, and it's just a major world that exists now, along with like Harry Potter or the Star Wars world. So I would bring back Tolkien, get him to sit down, have a shot at some of the games, and just hear his thoughts. If we could move it out to movies as well, I'd love to hear his opinion on the movies and the bits that they left out from the books, and maybe just hear some of his thoughts on it. So question 4 is, there's a fire in your house, and rather than saving your family, you have to save your gaming system and come up with a good excuse as to why you didn't save your family. Okay, random question, but a good one. So, of all the systems in my house, probably the one that I find the most enjoyable and the one that I have played the most would be the PlayStation 3. The PlayStation 4 give me the remakes of some of the games, and I would maybe go with PlayStation 4. But having thought about the question long and hard, I thought, right, I have got about 3 PlayStation 3s, so I'm allowed to save them. I'm saving those PlayStation 3s, and I'm running out of the house with my games. And once I get out of the house, my family perish, sadly, in the fire. That's a really morbid thought. But from those PlayStation 3s, I have the skills to create a flux capacitor. And using my flux capacitor, I can cheat Swifto's question, and I can make myself a nice time machine, and I can then zoom back and save my family, as well as saving my PlayStation, or just stopping the fire altogether. So that's my question to, as a fire, which gaming system would you save? But your family perish because you're saving your PlayStation 3s? Lovely question. Okay, you have managed to get Zeus to come down from Olympus, and you have to try and defeat him at a game, and if you defeat him at a game, you get godlike powers. Okay, so the weird thing is, I did actually think about Swifto's answer to that, and at the time I was thinking something along the same lines, but then when I heard his answer, I thought I'll go a different route. I'll change the route from the win-win situation to, I think I would do a cliff diving game. Now, there used to be a game, I don't know whether it was California Games or whatever games on the spectrum, but you used to cliff dive and you had to do twirls in the air, click a number of buttons and then press the button and not dive from the cliff. So I would play Zeus at the cliff diving game, and I would let him win. But in letting Zeus win, he would get so excited that he would electrify the water that he was in, and he would then no longer be a god and just be a normal human being, and all his powers would be passed over to me, and I would now be Zeus with godlike powers, but I wouldn't begin near any water anytime soon. It's the best I could come up with. I did think about it, but I struggled. Question 6. Which question would you hesitate to answer? Same answer as Swifto's, this one. But let me think about it. I'm trying to think of something that I can say about that, but it's really, really difficult. So if I can at the end, I might come back to which question would you hesitate to answer. I guess, do I look fat in this? And that's a question you don't hesitate to answer? No. You look lovely, dear. What other hesitation, or what question would I hesitate to answer? I would hesitate to answer, what would you like from McDonald's? I actually like McDonald's, it's not I don't like McDonald's, but I'd hesitate because I wouldn't quite know what to get. Right, question 7. A song that suits you or your person. I didn't have time to research this, unfortunately, and I figured I need to get this response done. So I'm trying to think. Swifto had said I wouldn't give away all Swifto's answers. If you want to see, you can go across to Swifto's original video. I'll leave a link in the description below. So a song that suits me. There's the songs that recently have mattered to me, I guess. One of the most recent ones that we're really identified with, I heard it the first time, and I thought that song is me. At this present moment, that song is me, and it's a wee bit kind of dark, I guess, maybe the right way, but it's Avril Lavigne, which you get dark. Avril Lavigne doesn't really go together, but it's Avril Lavigne and it's Head Above Water. So that song has kind of just captured the way I was feeling a lot recently. So that kind of a bit more serious side there, but that takes you down that route. And you can go and listen to the song, listen to the words, and you'll maybe get an idea of where my brain was at that point. Question 8, which I have to say, Swifto, see next time you say you've got 10 questions, really? Ask 10 questions, because I wrote these down so many times and I had to go back and double check the description in your video to figure out how many questions is there actually, and I kept missing one, and then I would write them down. I'd miss that one. I would have to renumber the ones I'd written down. So this one question was, have I already asked this question? Go away. Swifto, just go away. Stop being mean. You made my brain totally not work for a good few minutes, which isn't unusual, I suppose, for me. So anyway, that's the answer to that. Have I already asked this question? I would try and look for more meaning, but I'm getting close to the end of my journey, and I figured let's get through the last question. I haven't got one for Swifto yet, but I will try to come up with one. Places in video games that you would like to visit. So, for instance, if you liked Assassin's Creed, you would maybe want to go and visit the world that Desmond is in, or even the futuristic world, the past world, ancient Rome. For me, it would be post-apocalyptic worlds. Again, it goes back to many of my answers and my deep desire to be alone, my desire to be away from society, my desire to be, I guess, not dictated to in terms of what I should and shouldn't do. And post-apocalyptic worlds tend to bring that you are a free lance, there's no law, and it's not that I want to just live in a forest, off-grid, discussed previously again, but I've got a thing about sending birthday cards or Christmas cards or all that type of stuff. It's just not something I like feeling obligated to do. It's that obligation thing. Anyway, getting off topic there. Yes, I would like to visit, and I was thinking in my brain, the world of Fallout 3. I would love to be able to stand before a city that's been wiped out, I guess, or that sounds really morbid when I say it out loud, but it didn't sound morbid when I wrote it down. But a world where something bad's happened. It doesn't have to be a war. It could be like in the movie 2012, I think it is, where the world's just cracking up and there's skyscrapers falling over. That after all the suffering and all that, it would be something of a sight to behold. Would be a city that's been totally taken back in some way or other. What popped into my brain as well was The Last of Us, and having watched the Chernobyl series recently, which is a really good series on Sky. When you look at the city of Pripyat, if that's how you pronounce it, you can see that nature has taken back part of that city that was there. So the big tower blocks are covered in trees, and it is like something out of The Last of Us. And I'm not saying that I want suffering for people, I'm just saying that that type of, again, the nuclear bunker thing, the isolation, that if there was a way for me to, the start of Cloverfield Lane, if you've ever seen the movie Cloverfield Lane, I can't remember the number at the beginning of the movie, but this guy's created a bunker to get into, and he's got everything prepped, so like a doomsday prepper, I guess. Something that really fascinates me about that. So that's the kind of world I would love to just transport myself into for a period of time, not indefinitely. I would just like to visit it. So that comes me to the end of my journey and to the end of Swifto's questions. He did ask if somebody could ask him a question, and I haven't had a chance to really think about it. I was going to go with some generic questions, but then he said he liked silly questions. He did mention a big poop, which I've got a game that I created that was to do with poops. I might need to send him a video of that and ask him, what is your opinion of this poop game? Do you class it as SHIT or not? Anyway, cheers guys, and wee Bob is out.